Oh, mate. You've clicked on another one of these videos. You still think that secret key to you exploding your business and generating more sales and finally hitting your goals is in some secret lead generation method or some other lead vendor or some other way of getting business in, some external party that is going to take responsibility for you and your business and achieve your goals for you. You still think that it comes down to getting the best leads that are out there that nobody else has access to, that you can just keep for yourself and just going to solve everything for you. If you couldn't tell, it's all sarcasm, by the way. The best leads ever, they don't exist. It's not a thing. This was a clickbait title, and I thought to get you in. And unfortunately, tell you, from my experience, my opinion, everything that I've seen through a time of actually working in the space of working in lead generation, appointment setting, sales for mortgages specifically, what the best leads actually look like and what I think the best approach is, because simply the best leads is not the best approach to making the most sales. And I'm probably going to give you an answer that will give you clarity, yes, and will give you direction on the plan, but it might not be one that you wanted from clicking on this video. I will give you a way to just do it. I will give you a way to get the best leads ever, right? Like, you can do it. There is a way to get the most ready to buy leads, the ones that are going to give you the least resistance, because it is possible, but it's not going to be what you want. And this is one of those cases whereby, yeah, I understand that you want these people that aren't going to give you sales resistance, that are ready to buy, that aren't going to waste your time, so on and so forth. Like, if that's what you want, just stick with your referrals. If that's your biggest priority, just having easy work and not having to worry about making sales, about putting in work above and beyond and extra effort and all this stuff, just stick with your existing client base. Like, it's not going to be for you to try and grow above and beyond what you're already doing. But if your priority is to make more money and grow your business as opposed to staying comfortable, then yes, this is going to be for you, and you can take this stuff and actually put some effort into implementing it as well. So choice is yours. If you are looking to have easier work and enjoy things more and stay more comfortable, then cool. It's probably not for yourself. But if you're willing to put that work above and beyond what you're already doing and work hard to get what you want, then, which is obviously more money and growing a business, cool. This is for you. I'll take you through. But when it comes to actually generating the best leads ever, right? So I'm going to write it a bit smaller up here. The best leads. What actually makes people a good lead, right? Number one, you want them to be qualified. So this is going to come down to affordability, credit, age, and obviously if we're talking about purchase here, you're going to want to run through deposit. And what am I missing? I'm missing something. I can't remember what it is. Either way, you get the point. It doesn't really specifically matter. These are going to be the things that determine the quality of a lead, right? Someone who's actually eligible for a mortgage. That's what I need to be a qualified lead. But that's not the only thing that determines whether or not someone is going to buy from you, right? Because, like, if someone doesn't have a deposit saved, it's going to take them a certain amount of time to be ready. So point two is going to be time frame. Or you can call it readiness to buy, if you like. You might even get someone who has their deposit saved. They just think that for whatever reason now is not the best time to purchase or whatever it may be. They end up pushing it off. Cool, that's fair enough. So time frame readiness to buy is going to be your second point. And the third is going to be actually trusting you or your brokerage, trusting the advisor specifically to, do the job for them and get them what they're looking for. So trust in the advisor. So I would consider this, like, I talk about it all the time, having the know, like, and trust factor. So number one, they need to know who you are, because here's the thing: they can know you, they can not like you, they can know you for the wrong reasons. So we want to make sure that they like you. But liking someone isn't enough, because, like, for example, who do I like? There are plenty of people that I like, but I wouldn't necessarily trust to do a job for me, or trust to do something. Like, I wouldn't trust a friend of mine with no business experience to run my business while I was off for holiday. Yes, I know him. Yes, I like him, but I don't trust him. So you get the point there. They be able to trust you and your professional abilities to do the job for them. So those are what I would consider to be the three things that you would need to generate the best leads on the planet. They need to be qualified, they need to actually be ready to buy, and they need to be ready to buy with you specifically. So how on earth do you actually do that? To get people who are actually ready to buy, who have made the decision to go ahead with the process, right? You're going to want to find a platform where people are coming to you as opposed to the other way around. Because when someone's coming to you, they've already made the decision on what solution they want to go ahead with, right? They know that they want a mortgage. So to do that, we're going to be going on Google. And more specifically, we're going to be using Google advertising. This ensures that every single lead that you're generating is saying, okay, listen, I need a mortgage. Let me go ahead and find an advisor. I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not all that clued in when it comes to Google ads. I know roughly, like obviously, you can promote that through Google, right? And the general model of Google is people searching and then coming to you. So there's going to be a Google advertisement. People have already decided, then they come to you. But that doesn't necessarily actually sort the other things that we have mentioned there. Trusting in the advisor and having the readiness to buy, right? You can get people coming whenever they aren't ready to buy. They're just maybe looking for some information and they can still come through Google. So you need to make sure that people are ready to buy or like ready to do stuff as well and trusting in you. So that's source point number one. It's going to be a Google advertising, but it doesn't actually sort quality issue. So when it comes to the quality issue, you're going to be wanting to use a shitload of qualification, specifically on the front end. Whenever I say in front end, I'm talking like, if I pull this out, landing page, plus qualifying survey, slash questions. So that's what you want to do. A shitload of qualification on the front end. So like literally asking them like, what do you earn? How does your credit look? Throwing in just as many questions as you possibly can just to make this a more complicated process. Because if someone isn't actually genuine on doing something, they aren't going to be bothered to fill all this stuff out, right? So they're just not going to do it. So that filters out the people who aren't actually ready to do something, who are fully committed to the process. By throwing in loads of qualification questions, then you can get people away from that. So that's your step two. But that still doesn't solve everything. We still need them to do business with you specifically, right? And when it comes to this still isn't even guaranteed. So I know like this stuff will guarantee that you can sort those two, the first two bullet points that I've mentioned. But when it comes to getting them sold on you, you still need to do some work. So in terms of doing that, you're going to want to throw in a certain level of nurture material, speed to lead, and you want to actually be good on the phone as well. So whenever I say nurture material, well, if we're talking like VSL, video sales letter, upon submission. And this is just explaining who you are, who you work with, a little about the business, and you want that to actually resonate with the person that's watching, with the viewer, with the prospect, with the potential client. Address some of the problems and the uncertainties, the issues that they're facing, show that you have a solution as well. That's going to be step one. What were the other ones that I mentioned? Speed to lead is an important one, actually. So whenever I say speed to lead, I mean how long after this person submits through your landing page are you actually getting in touch with that person. If it's like a day, you're kind of pushing it. It's like they might bring a submission on another site. Anything can happen in a day. Something comes up. They get a phone call from somebody else. They have to go to work. Just life happens, right? People can forget that they made submissions. But if you get back to somebody, let's say you set up a notification on your phone, you get a text message as soon as the lead comes through, and you call them within like 2 minutes, you think they're going to forget after filling out like 20 questions? No, they're probably not. So the quicker that you can get in touch with the lead, they're going to go, oh yeah, cool, I remember exactly. And it helps a lot whenever it comes to building rapport too. And the last one is just going to be being a cool person, I guess. Like, here's the thing, and this is something that I think is this is just purely personal, and it does relate to business, but it's not really specifically a business thing. I have noticed like a general slip in people's abilities to like be nice people. And whenever I say be nice people, I mean just like, oh, hello, how's it going? Good to speak with you today. Thank you for your time. How are you? Asking people about their day, all this stuff. Like, If you're a dick, no one's gonna like you. So be a cool person, you know what I mean? There's nothing I can't like give you a protocol on how to be a nice person. We all know the right thing to do, right? You're watching this, you went to school, you were taught how to say please, you were taught how to say thank you were taught how to shake people's hand, ask people about their day. All of this stuff is like normal. It's how we were raised, certainly here in the UK and Ireland. So it's like, if you're not doing it, why are you expecting people to like you and give you their business, you know? So don't be a dick. And yeah, with all of this stuff, you'll get better essays. That's how you get mess leads. The only problem is, and just before I roll this off, by the way, so I'll summarize it. Google, it ensures the people are coming to you. So people that have already made a decision that they want to go ahead with the process, cool, let me go find an advisor. Qualification on the front end, you're still going to get people who have decided that they want to go ahead with the process, but aren't ready to go ahead with the process. They might be 12 months off, 24 months off. You don't want to be waiting 12 months if you're looking for the best leads here. So you want to disqualify those people on the front end through an landing page and lots and lots and lots of qualifying questions scored a large qualified survey. And lastly, you want to make sure that you have actual good nurture content and be a good person at the end of all of that. So you want to get in touch with that person straight away after they submit. You want to have actually good content to nurture that person as well. And you want to be a cool person too. Because, well, if Adolf Hitler is the person on the VSL, all of a sudden you're going to put off a lot of people with saying VSL. But here's the problem with all of that. And you can probably tell, Ernie, by the way. Let's say that this is the market. That's the market. The amount of people that fit the criteria that we just explained probably looks a little bit like this. That's you, by the way. These leads that we just talked about. And that's probably like 1% of the market. Ish. If even, like that says probably less. 1% of the market. And even then, you still need to secure the sale from them. Yeah, it's pretty pointless. Like, it's 1% of the market. The machines did 99% of the market here. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And here's the funny thing too. Although this is only 1% of the market, and here's 99% of the market who don't fit that criteria, you're going to get 99% of brokers. So let's say these are brokers. 99% of brokers going after that same 1% as well. So you're having to fight with every single broker for the smallest percentage of the total addressable market. And it's just going to be shit. Your cost per lead is going to be like ridiculous. Your cost per lead will be several £100 for the leads that I just showed you. Your cost per appointment will be even higher because even though you're getting leads, making that large of a commitment, there's nothing to say that another broker couldn't have gotten that lead in the exact same source. So like you're not even guaranteed to get an appointment from it. At the end of all that, you still need to make the sale. Like you're really having to fight for your place in the sun here, and you don't want to fight for your place in the sun because I don't think the business should be a difficult thing. You shouldn't have to fight to make sales. Work and effort, yes, and skills and being a person that can do it. But the idea of, like pulling your hair out at 1 in the morning because you're worried about how the numbers are going to match up, like, I think that's a pile of shits, personally. So, what is the solution to all of this? If you don't really fight into the 1%, don't get me wrong, if you can get the 1%, cool, that's fine. But, like, that's what your existing clients are for, and that's what referrals are for. It's like free, right? Existing clients, you don't need to pay to acquire existing clients. They just come to you and you get money for it free with no cost per acquisition whatsoever. Referrals, there's no cost per acquisition. So it's just pure like profit coming into the business. It's just free money. And that's what your 1% of the business should be. It should be referrals, it should be your existing clients. Cool, that's fine. When it comes to getting new business in and growing your business, you want to focus on the other 99% of the market. The only problem with this 99% of the market is that they don't fit the criteria that we discussed earlier. They aren't sold on the advisor. They aren't sold on the process. And they aren't ready to buy. They're in what I would call problem aware. That is not a pity. They're in problem aware about, but they are not solution aware. And all of this means that it's going to take them time and effort on the broker's part. And that's the broker's time as well, by the way, to terminate the clients. So as a result, people don't focus on them. People just don't have the patience. Humans were hardwired for survival, day-to-day thinking, right? Biologically, we still have the same brain as our hungry other ancestors who were literally running about in, like animal rags and trying to survive day to day just to catch their dinner. So it's the same with business. Like, catching dinner today is the same as going after that 1% who are going to buy today. But it's not necessarily the most efficient way of doing business, right? Because if you find that the other 99%, if you can get a hold of those people and do business with those people, then, like, if you have a system for doing it, then before you know it, you're going to secure more business. So it's like, just go after the 99% of the market. You're in that problem aware stage because you're going to return more business from them. But you're probably going to be asking, like, oh, hey, well, how do I get people who are problem aware? Like, how do I make sure that I use my time and use my effort most effectively to actually do business with them? And I'm going to address that as well. So here's the problem. They aren't necessarily sold on the solution, and they aren't sold on you. Not sold on mortgages or the broker. We need to get them to like, know, and trust you. Like, know, trust. Like, know, and trust the broker. And they also need to see that a mortgage is actually their desired solution to the problems that they're facing, right? So you want to actually understand what this person is struggling with specifically and show them that the path to their solution is through a mortgage. So prospects in their current situation, desired situation, which is like, I don't remember specifically what the desired situation is going to be. Let's say we're talking about first-time buyers and on a home. Let's say we're talking about someone who's just looking to manage their finances, consolidate debt, raise additional cash, whatever it may be. The point, you're going to know what their desired situation is, right? I want you to do some critical thinking. You apply this to your own situation. I can't spell everything out, unfortunately, because I can't get inside your head. And they need to see that to traverse this gap, does not spell gap. To traverse this gap, that a mortgage is actually the solution for that. So, are you going to do that? How do you do that? This is a longer video than I was expecting, so I'm expecting to have to do so much off the top of my head. To get people sold on mortgage and the broker, there are ways we can do this, and it's going to be through utilizing social media. Why are we utilizing social media? Don't get me wrong, like back in the day, whenever everything was just word of mouth and social media wasn't a thing, yeah, calls and relationships and working well for your existing clients, all that stuff worked. It still does work, by the way. Like, you can still do that to still secure business. The thing is that it doesn't have to be so limited or so binary. With the internet now, you have the luxury of being able to make a video, have hundreds of people from all around the world watch it at the same time. So why limit yourself to only focusing on relationships and in-person stuff? And over the phone calls and over the phone relationship building, whenever you can expand to different ways of building relationships and generating new clients and generating new leads as well. It's like, you might as well do it if the luxury and the option is there. So I want to tell you how you can do it. How do you get people sold on the process? To take them from obviously where they are now and what they're struggling with to get exactly what they want. See that mortgages is actually the solution for that. And also get to like, know, and trust the broker. How do we do that? So, broker, I know a trust factor. Let's take the liking part first. To get them to like you just need to be a cool person, to be honest. There's not really all that much that I can say here. Uh, I filmed a couple of videos back to back. I'm pretty sure it was this video where I was talking about just in general being it. Yeah, it was this video for the Google leads. Getting people to like you is literally just a case of hello, nice to meet you, being pleasant, being a nice person, right? Being funny, being charismatic, all of those things. If you are a social recluse and you don't speak with people, then why would you expect that whenever you speak with somebody for the first time that they're going to find you an interesting and engaging person if you're not an interested and engaging person? You know what I mean? I'm not saying this to be harsh, not saying this to be a dick. I'm not in a position to dictate how people make decisions and how people form opinions. All I can do is work around the systems that people have in their own head for doing that and cater my actions in accordance with it. And that's all that you can do as well. So get people to like you is just going to be a case of being a cool person. Getting people to know you, it's going to just be a case of actually getting yourself out there. And that's going to be through posting content and having a proper Instagram setup, Facebook setup, YouTube as well. YouTube is one of the most slept on assets when it comes to content and things like that. Because, well, if you can get someone to watch a video of yours for like 20 minutes, for example, as opposed to, just like a 2-second rate or a 20-second rate, you're going to build so much more trust, familiarity. They're going to get to know you more, going to get to know your processes. It's more predictable. They know what to expect. They see that you work with other clients. All of that stuff is going to build this like, no one trust factor. So we're talking YouTube. That's going to be your main asset, by the way, for a service-based business, a high-ticket service-based business where people are investing a lot of money into you. They need to make sure, not necessarily into you, but don't get me wrong, broker fees are going to be capped at, a couple of thousand, right? Depending on the service. But let's say someone's buying a home, let's say someone's remortgaging their home. That's a big investment. And that you're the person that's facilitating it. So it is a big investment into you. YouTube's going to be the best way through this because, like I said, it builds that familiarity, predictability, all that stuff. But you can repurpose YouTube in multiple ways. YouTube Shorts. When people are on YouTube, if you make a good short, good one that catches their attention, they might not watch a full 20-minute video, but they might watch a 20-second short, which is going to bring them back to your main channel as well. So all of a sudden, you've got that nice double touch from the same platform. There's going to be emails. So whenever I say emails, this is going to be a case of actually firing out emails to your list of not ready to buy yet prospects. You're in that 99% of the market and saying, hey, listen, I'm sure that you're struggling with this, this, and this. And this comes down to your knowledge of your market, by the way, and people that haven't made the decision to purchase yet, what they're struggling with, what questions they have, and making sure that your emails and your YouTube videos are actually relevant to those problems so that you can build that trust, show them that you have the solution, show them that you know what you're doing, and that you can actually help them get what they want. With emails, you can directly promote your YouTube videos. Are you struggling with this? Do you have this question? If so, click on this video, watch my YouTube. I'm saying this in very binary terms. Like, obviously, use some form of, what's the word I'm looking for? Artistic creation with that. Don't just be as boring as I've been. And the last one is going to be short form on Instagram and Facebook. So you can directly cut up clips from YouTube. So like go in, watch it, cut up a 60-second part of the video. Or you can pre-film a completely separate short based on the ideas that you discussed in your own form content. So let's say you make a video on YouTube or affordability. You can really explain for 10 minutes. You can really explain pretty simply for 60 seconds as well. So just make that 60-second short off the back of the idea that you had on your 10-minute affordability video, right? And then special mention for manual follow-up. FUP is follow-up, by the way. And this is going to be a case of, sort of every 1 to 3 months. Just checking in with the people who are in the pipeline. Oh, hey, I remember whenever we initially spoke, you had said you were struggling with this. I've actually gone ahead and made a video on this. I thought it would be useful to let you know that it's out there because it might answer some questions that you have. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Actually, no, you mentioned it. I was wondering about this as well, and I had this question. And then before you know it, not only are you building more of a no-win factor because you're having another conversation with them, but you're solving more of their problems, answering more of their questions, providing more Google value, increasing the like factor, and increasing the trust factor. So point is that all of this, with consistency, with conviction, with good quality, over a longer period of time, will build this like no one trust factor. And all of that stuff, all of that, let me just get rid of this so I can't see that behind point. All of that is going to help you sell to the 99% of the market. TAM, total addressable market, by the way. All of those things will build that like no one trust factor, will get people sold on you as an advisor. That's only step one. We still obviously have the mortgages side of things, and this is, I want to talk through this as well. Everything that I just discussed when it comes to content is going to be applicable to selling people on mortgages, but it comes down to the specific ideas that you have and the specific topics that you discuss. Because if you just get on and make videos about like the history of your brokerage, for example, and like, oh, look at us, we're so great, here's my founder's story, here's why we hired this person this month, so on and so forth. Yeah, it builds the like no one trust factor, but it's not really like addressing the problems and the questions and the uncertainties that these people have. So they're still not going to know if a mortgage is right for them. And this comes down to an understanding of your market, the problems they have, the things that they're struggling with, and what they're ultimately looking to do. You need to know what they want, and you need to show them that to get what they want, that a mortgage is going to be the solution, right? So by actually addressing that in your content, by showing people what the right step is, then yeah, you can do it. And then the last point is going to be in sales. So whenever it comes to sales, I'm talking about like your ability to actually speak with somebody, to ask the right questions, to understand what they're struggling with and what they're looking to do. And then positioning the mortgage as being the bridge, right? Position it as being the bridge. So that goes back to the diagram that I have for you, which is the current situation and desired situation. So current, desires, wrote that wrong, desires, and then ensure that they can see that that is the bridge to traverse the gap. So do all of that, before you know it, you'll be able to speak to that 99% of the market a little bit more. I know they clicked on this video to find out the way to generate the best quality leads, thinking that was going to be like an ultimate fix, the ultimate solution to get what you want, and that, you know, you could externalize some form of responsibility. The reality is that chasing the best leads, that's all that is. It's externalizing your responsibility for generating sales to your business. Sorry, don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but it is the truth. Growing your business isn't going to be easy. It's going to take work. Nobody said there was going to be something that would happen overnight. But you need to find ways to start selling to people in your market. And the reality is that the majority of your market isn't going to be ready to buy from you, isn't going to know you, isn't going to trust you. That's not to say they won't ever be ready to buy, that they won't ever like, know and trust you. You just need to develop systems and ways to get people ready to buy and to get them to like, know and trust you. And that may take you some time and some work and some effort. That's the whole fucking point, right? So, yeah, hopefully I've given you some good ideas. Go get to work. If you want the systems I'll give you the exact access to my systems for free. Click on the second link in the description, and well, you can get access to your 14-day free trial for my CRM and automation software. Go high level, try it yourself. And if you don't want to try it yourself, you'd rather pay me with money, then you can click on the first link in the description, try and sell you on my service. Don't have to do it if you don't want to. I will try and sell you naturally for money, but at the same time, it's really good. It's working pretty well for some of the people. I know that it can work pretty well for you too. So appreciate tuning in, appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you in the next video as well. Take care.